Well, hello there. I figured I would test out the brand new feature from YouTube that is basically doing a live stream from your cell phone. So I thought it would be cool to try out, and I wanted to talk a little bit about intentional living and technology. I've been thinking a lot recently about what intentional living is and sort of embracing minimalism through, embracing minimalism through everyday life. And so much of minimalism and all these things talk about minimalism in terms of this is the way for you to have a great life. If you reduce the clutter in your life, suddenly things will get better. And I've been thinking about this concept a lot and what it all means, right? What I've sort of landed on is I've realized that intentional living and creating space in your life for the things that matter is really about allowing the fleeting moments, the small occurrences of joy and happiness that can happen, and being present and available. So we can only have these moments of stillness, of joy, of happiness when we're available for it. And so much of minimalism is about allowing ourselves to be available for it. It's not that getting rid of stuff makes it happen, right? It's not that if I just throw away 100 items or if I only own so much, that all of a sudden life will be amazing and everything is perfect. But what it does allow you to do, the value in decluttering and the value of taking the time to really intentionally choose what technology you allow into your life, what different distractions, what's serving you and what's not. When you choose where your attention goes. You get to choose what matters to you, and you get to choose all of the things that are going to come into your life in a meaningful way. And to me, that's what it's really all about. It's about finding the things that do matter. This is the part where we start telling jokes to throw them off topic. Well, you've effectively done it. How's it going? It's good to see you. So I've been thinking a lot about this and just how technology plays a role. The other day, I think it was on Sunday. And my wife Amy and I were at home with our new dog Rocky, who I may get to show you in a second here. He's taking a nap right next to me. We were doing our normal Sunday routine. We made breakfast and we did all these things. Just the normal kind of like getting up, getting ready, cleaning the house, working on different things. And I sat down on this big chair we have in the living room. And it sort of was this moment where I was just sitting there relaxing, and it was sunny, just kind of like now. There's sun coming through the window. It was this nice morning moment. And as I was sitting there, Amy, my wife, came over and sat down next to me and grabbed a book. And she started reading her book. And we were sitting there and it was really nice. And then moments later, our dog, Rocky, came up to the chair and sort of asked to be picked up. So I picked him up and set him down, and he must have been ready to take a nap because he settled down and just kind of stretched out on our laps. And I realized that not having my phone out didn't create that moment. It didn't make all those things come together, and it may have only lasted maybe 5 minutes, maybe. That moment of stillness and sunlight. But it was because I wasn't on my phone at the moment. it was because Amy wasn't distracted with something else at that moment that allowed us to all be together, sort of just still and enjoying that moment together. So it wasn't not, right? It wasn't the technology or lack thereof or like the distractions that allowed, it wasn't that it like created that moment, but I was able to see that moment that brought me so much happiness and so much joy. I was able to see that moment in real time as it was happening, as opposed to it maybe just being lost, or me being in the other room on my phone, or doing something on the computer, or whatever else. So what I would say is if you're looking for those moments, if you're looking to change your life in a way that you want it to be more relaxing and you want it to be more sort of peaceful and have these moments of connectedness and joy, it really is about removing the distractions, but then watching, allowing those moments and appreciating them when they do come, because they are fleeting. Just like a lot of things in life, it's temporary. And without trying to hold on to it too much or anything like that, we just have to embrace them for what they are. So I wanted to share that idea, and I appreciate you watching and hanging out. I can't quite pronounce your name, but I just saw a note about watching something on TV. And watching something on TV is okay too, right? It's okay to have these things in our lives. It's just sort of making these conscious decisions about when it's the right time and using them as a way to enhance our lives versus the opposite. Yeah. All right, let's give a puppy cameo. He just woke up, so come here, dude. All right, ready? Here he is. Uh-oh. This is Rocky. Thank you, Aaron, for requesting the puppy cameo. He's looking out the window right now because he sees cars passing by. Hello to India. It's 2:24 in the morning. Thank you for joining. This is Rocky, and he's been kind of napping next to me today, and I've been enjoying just doing some work and hanging out while he takes his mid-morning afternoon nap. He's been good. This was another interesting thing. This guy, we've had him for about a month now, and it was really, really stressful and such a massive change when we got this dog. We had never had a dog before, and thank you guys, thank you so much. We'd never had a dog before. Amy had one as a child, but I never grew up with one, and bringing him into our lives was an incredibly fulfilling but stressful thing, especially for me, because when he'd bark at things, it would be, I wasn't used to that sort of I don't know, not interruption, but that sort of jarring change to a day that I largely controlled previously. And it was stressful, and just making sure that he was on schedule and all this stuff and keeping him trained. And it's amazing now that my life has less freedom than it did before, less flexibility. I'm actually finding that I'm much more content. And that brings up another good point, that for the last 2 years, my goal with Break the Twitch and talking about what intentional living means to me, my goal for Amy and I was always to have flexibility. It was always to have freedom. I saw that as fulfillment. I saw freedom and flexibility as the thing that would get us to the life we always wanted. And after leaving my full-time job and doing like freelance video work and then running Break the Twitch full-time over the last year, I got to the end of the year and I sort of realized that flexibility is not all it's chalked up to be. I saw someone from, I think they said Barcelona in Mexico, so I want to say bienvenidos a Minnesota. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. You know, we were going in this direction and we pivoted. We changed because we got this guy, and he is the opposite. Hey, Paul. He is the opposite of all the things that we thought we were working for. He's the complete opposite. And it was kind of this shocking change in our goals and our vision for this life that we thought would be the fulfilling life. And it turns out that it's not just freedom and flexibility. We kind of epitomize these or like idolize these digital nomads that can travel anywhere and just live out of a backpack. And I think that works really well for some people. But having this dude, he's small. I'm going to show you how big he is. He's this big. Having this little dude depend on us and make sure that I'm up at 7:30 or 8 every morning to get him up and feed him breakfast. He could definitely fit into a backpack, yes. And hopefully we will travel with him eventually, but he's still learning how to not just freak out at people walking around. So he's getting there, but yeah, happiness and fulfillment has come from having this purpose of having this guy depend on us and having him to come home to and be excited and taking care of him more than I ever really expected. So we took a total turn from what we thought was the answer, and it's been really amazing in a lot of ways. So with that being said, I would say have a vision. Keep pursuing a vision of what intentional living looks like to you. Keep going towards it. Take small steps every day to spend time in ways that reflect your values. And then change if you need to. Just set that vision, set the course, and be willing to go a different direction when the time comes if you feel it's right. And that's okay. Life is very dynamic. Life is very just, I don't know. It is varied in its sense. Yeah, I know, me too. Cheers from Spain, one of my favorite countries in the entire world. Very much so. Welcome. Glad to have you here. So I think that's it. I think I've rambled about intentional living and what all this means and how things can change. And it's okay. But I'd love if you had any questions or anything you wanted to ask. I haven't made a video in a while, and I'm actually working on one right now, but I thought I'd hop in and just say hello because I missed making videos and connecting with you. So yeah, if you have any questions, I would love to answer them for about 5 or 10 minutes and chat for a bit. Thanks, Abby. I appreciate it. I have a gigantic nose. Yes, thank you. I can even do this with it. I don't speak Russian, so I'm sorry I can't answer that question. Yeah, sure. Come to Minnesota. It's probably better to come in March, April, or May. I would come probably in May because Minnesota is much that's hilarious. It's much warmer and much more pleasant, and the culture here really revolves around spring and summer. Hi, Celia, I think it is. Yeah, so do come to Minnesota. It's a great place, especially in Minneapolis. Hello from Italy. Buongiorno. Parla l'inglese? Uzbekistan. Let me just say quickly that one of my favorite things, Bulgaria, one of my favorite things about YouTube, something that motivates me to create, to make this stuff, to explore my own intentional living journey, is the fact that that there are so many of you all over the world that I get to talk to. It's one of the most fulfilling things in my life, just to be able to like connect with people all around the world and share this message. And Sylvia, awesome. Thanks, Sylvia. I've never seen that before. Cheers from, hey, Duluth, you're right in the neighborhood here. Thanks, Trevor. Why do you think so many people start taking minimalism as a competition? How can we avoid that? So how can we avoid competition in minimalism? I would say the best way to avoid competition in minimalism is to make it about you, to make it personal, and don't allow other people's choices to make what you want undervalued. It's really good, and I think that's been one of my points with Break the Twitch as well, is my goal is not to set a model for what life should look like. My goal is to simply talk about what I'm doing in terms of the considerations and the things that my family is doing, share why we're doing it, and give you a space to really consider if that is something that makes sense for you too. And I hope that comes across. Michigan. I'm from Michigan. I grew up in Ann Arbor originally. Hello, Amanda. I think that's what's most important. Philosophers, yeah. The classic philosophers have a lot of really good stuff. Books, things like that. Finally gonna break the Twitch, find your videos, Barry. Hey, thank you, Sylvia. Appreciate it. I'm glad you find them useful. I really enjoy making them. And the beautiful thing about Break the Twitch for me is that making these videos and writing and doing all of this stuff provides reflection on my own life, and it forces me to think about the decisions that I make. And it forces me to think about what's important to me and share those ideas with you. So that's been one of the most valuable things, other than just really connecting with you guys and having to and being able to make these connections. Drew, thank you so much. That means the world to me. Appreciate it. The best book, in my opinion. Oh man, there are so many good books. There's so many good books out there, and I love reading. I've mentioned before that I like reading normal paper books, and so I have, I don't know, not a ton. I probably have like 40 or 20, 30, 40 books, and I really allow space for them because they are, he's going nuts licking my hand. They are a great thing, but I have taken different things from lots of different books. Right now, I'm reading a book called The Geography of Bliss. The Geography of Bliss by a guy named Eric Weiner, which is a funny name. But he goes to these different places in the world and learns about happiness in those places and sadness in those places, and he learns about what makes those places happy. So that's what I'm really enjoying right now, and it's something that I think everyone should read because it creates a lot of perspective. Approaching consuming. Sasha, I'm reading your message. However, my boyfriend is oh man, I missed the last bit. I might be able to beatbox Amrit. Thank you. With minimalism, so a friend of mine just came out with a book about minimalism. His name's Joshua Becker, and my story is actually in the book in, I think, chapter 5, and it's called The More of Less. And I think that he does a really good job of overviewing the why and a high level how to minimalism and why it makes sense. Man, I keep missing, hold on, I gotta see if I can like go to the chat here. Yeah, I'm showing it. I don't know how to go back because I'm seeing stuff and it's disappearing before I can respond to it. The minimalists are also great. They definitely have a great perspective on minimalism. It's a little different from mine, but they make great resources and great books as well. Everything That Remains, I've heard, is a fantastic book, especially if you're coming from a place where you're working a lot, you're earning a high salary, and you need to escape that life, the life of the grind and the constant purpose. I have watched Simon Sinek's stuff, the Power of Why, and a lot of that I think I talk about in these videos. I talk about the power of why, and I hope that it resonates with you as to why I'm doing this, why I'm exploring these things, and really talking about my journey here through thick and thin of what matters and what I think I really want to do with my life and those sorts of things. That's why I've committed to doing this work, and I hope to spend the rest of my life doing this because of a lot of what Simon Sinek has talked about, the power of why and why I'm doing it, because I really think it's so important. We all have these decisions to make, especially now. We have these decisions to make with how we're spending our time, and like never before we have more technology, distractions, and every day there's a new app that demands more and more of our time and our energy. And it's good for some things, but it's not real, right? Like it's not a real connection, and we can spend all of our time chasing those dopamine hits and that stuff. You've heard the break the twitch jingle in your mind when a feature of the smartphone. It's funny because that break the twitch, what's one simple thing I could do this week to be a minimalist? One simple thing that you could do, Eric, and thanks for that question. Hey man, how's it going? One simple thing you could do is just do a challenge this week where you find one thing in your house and get rid of it every day this week. Something you could do to be a minimalist a little bit more this week would be spend 1 hour per day completely off of technology. Take the time to allow your brain to process all that's happening during the day and allow it that space to think and output some creativity if you are used to being on a computer all day at work and things like that. You can, what's one thing you can do? Any small action that you can do that you haven't done in a while that you've been waiting to do. Maybe it's like you've wanted to run for a while, and instead of running, you go online and you buy something. Instead of that, you go and you buy running shoes or a sweatband or something like that. You can take a small action. Instead of buying something, you can take a small action and do it. And in a sense, instead of consuming something, you've created something. You've created a habit, you've created an action and taken action. So that's, I don't know, I tend to think that it's the smallest things repeated that matter most. And that sort of is the thinking on that. Thanks for your question, Eric. That was a good question. I do not smoke. Thank you for asking, though. Any tips on how to let go of band shirts or bands you used to listen to a lot? They're so hard to let go of. Man, I think that goes with t-shirts. I think that goes with t-shirts and anything that you have that you associate with an event, right? So if you have these things that remind you of a time that was a really good time in your life, I don't think you necessarily have to get rid of them, but you do have to find the balance between, is your life better by having them and having those fond memories? Or would your life be better if you had less time, or if you had less chores to do by keeping those things organized and doing the laundry that it takes? Make a quilt with them. That's an amazing idea. You can use them in some sort of craft project or something else that would allow you to appreciate them, have them in your life, but maybe not have them to wear. It depends on the condition and so many other things. My boyfriend is a massive hoarder. How can we live in harmony? This is a really tough one. It's a question that I get a lot. And the answer can pretty consistently to the question of how can I convince my ex to also be a minimalist and reduce clutter in their own lives is lead by example, right? Be living proof of what is possible. Hey. He's barking at someone else. See, this is what he does. He sees someone outside and then he starts barking at them a little bit. It's okay. It's okay, puppy. Thanks, Emily. So the best, in my personal opinion, the best thing is be living proof of what's possible. Do the best you can to reduce clutter in your own life, even if you're sharing a space, and lead by example and show what's possible by doing this in your own life, by having the space you need to connect, to be with people and to appreciate the, like I said earlier, the small moments in life that really matter. Yeah, thank you for that question. That's a great question. And it's difficult. It's difficult, and all you can do is slowly kind of encourage and be encouraging for someone. Hey there. Greetings from Germany. Wow. Hello from Minnesota. A good first step, every great journey, what is the quote? Every great journey starts with a single step. A path of 1,000 miles. Minimalism, I think we need to stop thinking of minimalism as something we do once or twice. Minimalism is a lens. It is a lens with which you view the world. It is the conscious decision making every day of the things that serve you and the things that do not serve you or the people you really care about. And when you look at life through that lens, it becomes less about the technicality of the things you own. It becomes less about whether you have too many t-shirts or not. And it becomes more about what are the choices I'm going to make today? What are the decisions I'm going to make today that will make life better for myself and for the people around me, the people in my influence sphere? What are the things that I can do that will make someone feel a little more appreciated today? What's something that I can do that will just add value to my life and to someone else's life? Because when you start getting rid of t-shirts, it eventually gets there, right? The t-shirt is like, it's a thing. And yes, it adds time into your life. It adds value into your life. Plant seeds and allow them time to grow. Exactly. I love that. Thank you, Alexandra. It's like the first step to becoming a minimalist is make one choice. Make one choice about something you want in your life and either get rid of it or keep it. And then you go from there, and then you do it again the next day. So again, I think we've gotten to this point where minimalism seems like it's supposed to be this big, I'm going to become a minimalist, and once I get there, I will have everything I need. Once I get there, that's when I'll be happy, once I've decluttered adequately. But it's a lifelong process. Because especially, again, like I said earlier in this chat, my wife and I thought that freedom was the goal. We thought that complete autonomy and control of our time was like, that's happiness and we'll be free. And then we got a dog and he's like, nope, you're not going to have much freedom. You have to come back and take care of me. And you aren't going to have as much flexibility. I need to, be on a schedule. And that brought us a lot of happiness too. So things shift. And you're going to be constantly making adjustments. Happiness, fulfillment, it's a moving target, and it doesn't happen all the time. Minimalism is just the lens with which you can look at your life to allow you to get there. I think that is much more important than the actual stuff you get rid of. It's great to donate things, to give things to people that need them, especially if they're in good working order. You give it away, and you give that thing new life. You give that thing that you used to own that has sort of died and not become useful to you, you give it to someone else, and it breathes new life and new purpose into that thing, and that's a beautiful thing. But until you get there, it's just this consistent sort of decision making every day. It's just like money, right? Chasing a certain amount of minimalism or whatever, there's no real level you hit and then it's done. Life does not just end. You've not made it and then you're done being minimalismed. You are always making these choices. You're making choices about what to buy, what not to buy, what to bring into your life, what not to bring into your life. Every day there's a possibility of something new, of something, just this sort of potential, this possibility. Am I going to bring it into my home or am I going to not? Can you tell us about the negative emotional feelings you felt from the idea of minimalism? I hear a lot of people talk about the feeling, etc. I don't have any particular negative feelings about minimalism, and let me know if I answer this question incorrectly. I think minimalism is a beautiful thing, and it created opportunity in my life. It created space. It created happiness. It created like a new mentality. Like I said, minimalism created a new lens. And there's a reason why I talk about break the twitch, this idea of intentional living through minimalism, habits, and creativity. Because in order to do the things that matter to you every day, you have to create the time and the space to allow yourself to do them. You can't do it if your schedule is full. You can't spend 10 minutes with your dog playing every day, no matter what, training him, doing whatever you need to do, if you don't space for something more meaningful. So to me, it's a 3-step process. Minimalism, you focus on making those daily decisions about what matters. Habits, you focus on doing the small things every day that will basically mirror image your ideal life. If in your ideal life you run every day, you live on a beach, and you meditate every day, you cook meals that are healthy for yourself, you may not be able to do all of those things, but you can take elements. You might not live on a beach yet, but you can run every day. You can cook one meal per day, and you can start building these blocks once you've created the space. You just slowly start implementing one by one. You cook one meal a day of healthy food for yourself, and you feel really good about it. And then after a couple months, make it 2 days, right? Or make it 2 meals a day. And then it's, you see someone outside. Hey, quit that. Can you stop, please? Thank you. And then it's just like, yes, Christopher, thank you. Yes, it is this idea of like, what's the minimally viable action? What's the smallest action you can take that isn't saying you're going to do something and that is doing that thing? So if what you're going to do is go out for a jog, go out for a walk, you can put on your shoes and you can walk out the front door and walk around the block, or you can just walk to the end of the block and back, and you've done it, right? And repeating that and building and building and building. That's what it's all about to me. A good life is slowly building up the things that you want. And then the third category, like I mentioned, minimalism, habits, starting to do the things every day that matter, and then creativity. Creativity is, I refer to that as in living creatively. So creative living, and I think Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this. And what I mean by that is she defines it as living based more on curiosity than fear. Because I believe that we are all creative. Maybe not in the traditional painting sense, in like the splattering paint all over, on a canvas creative. But I mean, we all have this innate ability to generate ideas, to solve problems, to explore and be curious about things that really matter, to pursue these things and to share them with the world. And so that's the third step. Once we're doing those habits, the things that reflect the life that's so important to us, we can really start to focus on creating. And that's what I'm doing with Break the Twitch. I'm using that creative category to create videos that I think are important, to talk about things that matter to me, and share these moments with you, and share these conversations and all of these things. So that's kind of my view of the world, and it's been that way for probably about a year or so. Yeah. Yes, coming up with efficient ways to get out of debt is a creative process, and I actually had a great time doing so. so much of life is also about perception, our perceived paradigm of a situation. If we think about debt as like, oh man, it's gonna suck getting out of debt, oh, this is awful, it's probably going to reflect that. Debt is not fun. I've been there. I understand that. And debt is not fun, but you can change your mentality about it and make it a game. You can make it a game about what are the things you can cut? What are the extra money you can make one day a week? It's stressful, I get it, but we can change our paradigm about different things. Here's a really good example about a paradigm shift that I've been thinking about, that I'm gonna make a video about soon. But the situation where someone comes up behind you in a busy, crowded space, and they bump into you, and it's busy, but it's like a very intentional bump. You get shouldered, and you kind of throws you off balance a little bit. And your instant reaction, your twitch, right? Your twitch reaction is to be angry. And you prepare yourself. You're like, oh, that person ran into me. And you feel that anger building up. And you prepare yourself mentally, right, to say something. You're like, oh man, I can't believe they did that. And then you turn around, and in a split second, in a split moment, you see the face of your friend smiling and basically giggling behind you. And what happens? All of a sudden, your paradigm, your situation, your perception of that situation changes, and you start to laugh. You're no longer angry. And that paradigm shift can be applied to anything in life. And all that happened was a mental shift. We saw that, oh, that's my friend. He wouldn't have run into me intentionally, right? So that's a mental change that we've created in our minds that allow us to feel happier about a situation that we have no control over. We do have the ability to control how we think about things. Would I switch to a dumb phone again? Yeah, I'll hit that in a second. So realize that when someone cuts you off in traffic, you can think about the fact that they are rushing to get to the hospital to meet their spouse who was taken there earlier from work because something happened to them. You can realize that kids that are too loud on the bus might be struggling right now in school and just need some outlet and some playtime. Paradigm shift allows us to live better in so many ways because we can tell ourselves the story that makes the most sense and allows us to see people in the best light possible, because that's all it is. When we walk through life and we see other people and their life threads interweave with our own, we're creating this fabric of society and time where we all interweave with each other's lives. And most of that fabric is a story that we tell ourselves. It's a story that we create in our minds about other people and the things that they do and what they believe and their intentions. So we can make active choices. I think this plays into minimalism as well. It plays into intentional living. We can make active choices about who we are and who other people are and who we believe them to be. So I'm going to go back to the question. I would switch to a dumb phone, absolutely. If it has Google Maps and Lyft, which is the ride-sharing app, I think that's it. If it had Google Maps and Lyft, I would absolutely switch back to a dumb phone because I really just don't need all this stuff on my phone. Yeah. David, that's awesome. I'm not wearing any pants either. I'm kidding. I am wearing pants, but if you need a watch, you get the best watch to suit your needs. Yeah, exactly. So minimalism, again, is a beautiful thing, but don't let it overrun your life. Don't let minimalism be the thing that makes you miserable again. I made a video, if you want to see, if you want to hear more about that, just watch my video, Avoid This Minimalism Mistake. Watch that video on this channel, and you'll see what I think about how minimalism has sort of become just another impossible standard to reach. Just another thing that we need to aspire to, which is ridiculous. To me, at least. Yeah. I don't talk about money much. I've had other people on that do talk about money, but I believe that money is simply a reflection of time, and it's a simple reflection of we spend time earning it, and then we have to spend it in ways that reflect how we spend our time to earn it. Minimalism has affected people in my life. My wife and I made a conscious decision to pursue it together. And it does. Whether you try to influence other people or not, it has, because people inevitably want to know what you're talking about. People want to know why you're so content with this thing, or why people want to know why you are changing your life in a way that is not necessarily normal. And so that leads to a lot of conversations. It leads to a lot of things that will drive change in other people's lives. And I think that's a great thing. Like I said, my goal is not, you'll notice that I don't make, like, look at my Instagram account, right? Go to instagram.com/breakthetwitch. And you'll see that I'm not posting pictures of this perceived perfect life that I have. My goal is not to create a model for the life that I want you to live. My goal is to simply share the considerations and the things that I would love for you to think about and consider, so that you can make those decisions about your own life and go from there and build upon that idea. Les he dicho que so I think you said that you've had a similar idea, but you don't call it what I call it, but I'm not sure which idea you're referring to. The definition depends on the person. Yeah, I think you guys were talking there. So, that's I've shared a lot of different ideas here today, more than I expected to. I was just going to do a quick 10-minute live stream, but since you guys have been asking great questions and hanging out, I decided to keep going here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. And I do want to say that I've missed making videos. I haven't been making 2 videos a week like I have been in the past, and it's mostly been a lot of because this guy has become a big part of our life, and now we're sort of getting back into the flow. Another big thing is that I'm writing a book right now. I'm writing a book about minimalism, about this thing that I call the false first step, and so that has been taking a lot of time as well as I write this book, which should be out June 2nd. So I'd love to get on that. Christopher, thank you so much. I really wanted to do this, and I'm glad I did. Thank you. Minimalism. How does minimalism affect your travel or vacation plans? The dog affects our vacation and travel plans more than minimalism does. Awesome. Initially, this is what I was kind of saying earlier, is that my goal with minimalism was to give myself more space, more time, energy, money to travel, because that was my passion. That is what I love doing. And I don't believe in vacations. I believe in traveling. I don't go to a place to relax. Maybe I should, but I believe in going to places to explore, to meet people, to experience things in life that I can't experience in my home city. And so minimalism has made that possible. Minimalism has a lot. He's so floppy right now. Minimalism has made that possible, increasingly so, because we spend less money on stuff, and we're able to focus more time. We're able to focus more time on traveling, on finding travel perks, on doing some different like travel hacking things that allow us to travel cheaply, and so it's made it much better. Yeah, spend your time, save your money, spend your time on experiences. I like that. I love seeing new places. Travel is so important. Having a bad shut in the. Would you live in a motorhome? I've brought it up to Amy, and I don't think we will live in a motorhome. It's not the life that Amy wants. We really like having a home base, and we really love having our little home. You know, we have a 1,100 square foot house, and it suits our needs perfectly. We have a guest room for when people come to stay. We love hosting people. And maybe in a later stage of life, in my late 30s, we'll try it. I don't know. But at least right now, we're very content in our little home, and it suits our needs perfectly. So I might try it. I've heard it's great. I am kind of curious about the tiny house movement. Yeah, the tiny house thing is an interesting thought too, being that it's so mobile. You can kind of pick it up and move it whenever you need to. But not right now. We're still in the phase of like entrepreneurship. Like I said, I'm writing this book and putting it out, and so I do a lot of video work and creative work still, in addition to Break the Twitch, which I'd like to be able to dedicate my time fully to Break the Twitch and making these videos, but that's probably still a year away, I'd say, from being able to do it full time. So yeah, it really is kind of about settling in, just sort of being comfortable where we are, and also just getting used to this dude, getting used to this dude's patterns and habits and what he needs in order to stay stable and reliable. Book title. So when I write Break the Twitch, in terms of like it'll be a big book, right? It'll be a very big book that covers all three of the things. It will be online. I'll be selling it online. Keep an eye out for it June 2nd. In fact, there will be a sign up on my page to sign up for notifications and stuff pretty soon. But I'll also be announcing it on the YouTube channel. So don't worry about missing it. I'll definitely be announcing it several times over, and you will not. Ironically, yes, there will be a Kindle version. It'll be on Amazon. Hello to Singapore. Hi, Noor. I hope I'm saying your name right. So yes, there will be. It'll be available, and I'll definitely talk about it. Yeah. So thank you. I really want to kind of cap this by saying thank you. I've had so many amazing conversations. I love hearing these comments, and it's something that is so fulfilling in my life and so gratifying. It adds so much. Hearing from people that have resonated with Break the Twitch, that have really gotten something out of my videos or the work that I do, it's been really awesome. So thank you, and I want you to know that I appreciate you dearly. It's I hope that Break the Twitch becomes my life's work, and that's something I'm working towards and working on right now. On my travel list, I really want to go to Iceland. I really want to go to Japan. I haven't been to Japan yet. Thank you, Chloe. Chloe or Chloe. Hopefully I'm saying it right. I'd love to go to Brazil. Saludos a Sevilla. Muy bien. Gracias por todo. Yeah, I really want to go to. I love Spain. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and so I want to go back there. But I'd love to go to Portugal, Lisbon, and just check out that. Iceland, Japan. I want to go to. Thailand. I'd love to go there. So many places. Nara, yeah. I will absolutely. Ooh, my battery's dying. I've not been to Ireland, and I really want to go there. I love traveling, you guys, and I'm learning Chinese right now. So hopefully at the end of the year, I will speak Chinese pretty well. I can say, well, I'm learning the basic structure and stuff. 我会说一点 is 中文. I don't know. Hopefully that was close. So I'm learning Chinese right now. 你好吗?你好吗? 我叫 Antonia. So I'm learning that, so I'd love to go to China. I'd love to go back to Taiwan and some other places. And Dutch, I would struggle with Dutch, that's for sure. Maybe that'll be on the list after Mandarin. But I love traveling and I love meeting people. So yes, I will be doing meetups. I did my first ever meetup in LA this past year and got a couple people there and we met up for coffee. It was brilliant. So I will be doing meetups in every city that I go to from now on. And so I don't know the best way to announce it. If you have an idea in terms of how I should announce it so that it can get out to all of you, I would absolutely do that. You can join my newsletter, actually, if you go to breakthetwitch.com/newsletter. breakthetwitch.com/newsletter. You will get my monthly newsletter, and I will update every time I'm going to be somewhere and I'll do a meetup. I'll do it in there. I'm learning. I would love to meet you too, Nora. I would love to meet you as well. So I'm learning Chinese using an app called Memrise. And all I do is I go through the app and do it once every single day. So I learn it a little bit every day, and I'm just learning new words. And then once a week, I get on a Skype call with my friend Sean Lee, who is in LA, a good friend of mine, and we have a conversation. We talk about YouTube for half an hour in English, and then we talk in Mandarin for 30 minutes, and that's how I practice. I never thought I'd be good at learning languages. I learned Spanish when I was very little, when I was very young, and so I thought that was just, I learned it because I was young when I learned it, and I realized that nope, just like everything in life, you guys, everything in life, it is about daily practice. It is about daily, just continual, small practicing, learning a few words a day and just doing it because I'm learning, I'm learning Chinese, and I never thought that I would. So I truly, if I can do it, you can do it too. So check out Memrise. It's a free app. I do not necessarily want to become a polyglot. I would love to speak the world's, the top most spoken languages: English, Chinese, and Spanish. That was my goal. Korean is super cool too. Yes, I just love communicating with people, and so I think that's why I'm driven to want to learn more languages, especially now. That's kind of my mission with that. Hello everyone that's joining right now. Oh, here's a live chat. It's funny because Mr. Lee, the guy that just commented, is the guy that I just said, Sean Lee. He is the guy that I talk with once a week, and we converse in Mandarin. He's a friend of mine that lives in LA and has a new but very nicely done YouTube channel where he talks about business, entrepreneurship. It's just Mr. Lee, MRLI. So I would highly recommend checking out his channel and following along with his own adventures, because I think he does a great job. Jumped on right before the shout out. Of course he did. Yeah. I wonder if Rocky's getting tired of me bouncing him around. He's subscribed to Mr. Lee. Boom. It's 5:40 here. Whoa, that is super early in the morning. Well, good morning. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully this started off in a good way. Yes, his name is Rocky. And he's chewing on my hand right now. He's not supposed to do that, but that's okay. He's teething also. He's losing teeth right now. Rockin' Rocky. Yeah, he's 5 pounds, you guys. He's 5 pounds. He might get up to 6 or 7 pounds. So hopefully we can travel with him. Hopefully we can bring him with us to places. But we'll see. I don't know. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. If I woke up and forgot my birthday, how old would I be? As in, if I forgot how old I actually was, I'd probably be like, in my mind, I sort of imagine myself as maybe like a mid-20s, even though I'm 31. Yeah, I still feel like I'm in my mid-20s, and I feel like a lot of people probably are there. But at the same time, I don't know. I've always looked older than I actually am, and so I kind of think that You just have to live. It's not the age, it's the stage. Everyone is in a different stage of life at different ages, and so we can connect with people. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Nur. You can connect with people of different ages as long as they're in the same or similar stage as you, and you can work on stuff together and connect, because different people go through different cyclical stages in different times of life. You know, I'm not on the Minimalism Amino app. I actually got contacted by them to do a custom page for Minimalism Amino. Should I do that? I don't know, because at the time I was too busy working on other things for Break the Twitch, so I did not pursue a partnership agreement or deal with them. And so I don't know. Is Minimalism Amino a good app? Is it a good resource? I have no idea. I'd love to know your opinion on it. This is my life. Would you rather have just arms or just feet? A lot of what I do requires my arms. Assuming that's a weird question. That's a strange question. But I play piano and I type, and a lot of what I do in life requires my hands. So I think I'd choose my hands. We are not zero waste. We do try to respect the earth as much as possible. We try to do whatever we can to reduce waste in our lives and that kind of thing, but we're not zero waste. We have a long way to go, and it's something we are focused on. We compost, we recycle, we do as much as we can. Maybe on a different channel, Sean. We'll do Rocky live, 1 hour a day of him just biting things and playing, because maybe that would be better than me rambling away about minimalism and intentional living and all this other stuff. Dog Cam. Maybe I'll put it on my other channel, the Anthony Ongaro channel, where I have all my vlogs and all that other stuff. Yeah. Hey, buddy. He saw someone outside. Hold on. I got to spin him around. Hey, stop. It's okay. It's not a threat. It's a person outside. Hey, buddy, we're on a live stream. Hey. I don't even know. Yeah, there's a person walking by. Sorry. He's super loud, you guys. Sorry. Yeah. He has a big bark for a little dog. Sorry about that, guys. One thing I wish I could be more minimal in is, truthfully, social media usage. What are you barking at? I require social media in my daily life because I use Facebook to promote Break the Twitch, to share my articles. I use Twitter. YouTube in a way is social media. So I don't view it as a bad thing. Like, this is a fulfilling thing for me. I love it. But I do wish that I could spend less time on social media, just simply because I have to produce content in order to grow Break the Twitch, in order to reach more people with the message that I have and what I want to say. You are very kind. I'm sure you're talking to Rocky, right? This guy? Do you say yes? Yeah? Yes? He says yes as he gnaws on my finger. Yeah. So social media is always something. It's a great tool. It's an amazing way to connect with people, but it can be used in a way that just isn't. Yeah. It can be used in a way that is invasive and really not very helpful. What's your favorite childhood memory? So there are a lot, but things like from my young childhood, but one of the most impactful things that I got to do in my life was when I was about 11, I got to spend some weeks in Spain. Social media is like a hammer. That's for my video. That's great. I got to spend some weeks during the summer in Spain as a kid, in Madrid, and it was doing that being the odd one out, being the one that didn't speak Spanish very well, that like was the stranger. I was the outsider, and having to be in that position and forcing myself to learn Spanish and being in the position of not being comfortable was one of the most valuable things that ever happened to me. And my parents made that possible for that to happen with our close family friends there in Madrid. So the first thing that came to mind was that experience of being really uncomfortable and being with all the other kids there. Yeah, everything is a tool. Amazon.com is a tool. It can be convenient, it can be destructive. Hammers, things like that. I will plug the Minimalism documentary. Yeah. Don't try to be on it. Sean has a great point, Mr. Lee, there. Don't be on everything. Choose a few and do them really, really well. A good friend of mine said, 100 shallow wells will not find any water, but 2 deep ones will get you water. And that can be applied to just about anything in life. Yeah. He's biting my hand. I think he wants to get down. So I think this is going to be the end. You can say bye. Bye to Rocky. Bye. Bye, Rocky. All right, I'm going to put him down so he can go run around. But so much of it, yeah, comes down to that. He says goodbye. He's going to take a nap now. Yeah. Yeah, so Sean, thank you for asking. This I think will be my last point for now because I've been on for an hour and my phone is actually about to die. So I will wrap this up by talking about Think Better, Live Better, a conference in Florida that I just spoke at last weekend. And I want to talk a little bit about what I learned because Sean brought it up. So Think Better, Live Better is an event put on by Mark and Angel, which is markandangel.com. And they are an incredible couple. They write about overcoming adversity in your life. And they put on this event where all these speakers spoke about productivity. I went on and spoke about Break the Twitch, about intentional living and what it means and how to implement it into your life. And what I realized is, one, the best way to connect with people is in person. I had amazing conversations after my talk with people that were there, that listened, that resonated with what I had to say. And those connections are just so meaningful and incredible. So that's why, like I said, I'll be doing meetups wherever I go from now on. I'll be announcing them and just... so I'm going to be at VidCon. Actually, I also should say that now. I'm going to be at VidCon this year. If any of you are going to be in Anaheim for VidCon, I'd love to meet you. And then I'm going to be at an event called TribeCon. And it's basically about writing and about becoming an author, and that's put on by Jeff Goins. So I'll be there too. So if you're going to be in Tennessee, you can check my website and check those dates out. But yeah. So what I learned at this event is just connecting with people is the most valuable thing in my life. That I feel like so many things that you do come down to the people in your life and opportunities that they provided for you, that you provided for them, and so much fulfillment can come from that. So the other thing that I learned about growth, about personal growth, is directly from this, is I spoke in front of about 150, maybe close to 200 people. And it was scary. The idea of it was scary. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be at VidCon for the whole event. So I'll be there the whole time. And like I said, I'd love to meet up with anyone. I'd love to meet up with you. A lot of things in life. Oh my gosh. He's got a toy back there. Okay. So I'm talking about Rocky again. Let me collect my thoughts for a second here. In life, personal growth comes from discomfort. And that's why, to me, Break the Twitch matters so much. Because the Twitch is what we do to prevent that discomfort from occurring. And it's these small, temporary distractions that pull us away from the discomfort that we feel, which isn't a bad thing. Discomfort is a good thing. The discomfort of like wanting something, that's discomfort, right? And by choosing to not get something that we want, that can be a growth opportunity. That can be some way that we grow as people. And so really it's about overcoming this discomfort in a productive way. And that's what Break the Twitch is about to me. And that's what, again, I was reinforced by doing this talk. It was the most people I've ever spoken in front of. And for the week up to the event, I kept saying in my head, why did I sign up for this? Why do I put myself in these situations under this pressure? And then I got up on stage, and it was terrifying up until the moment when I got up on stage. But I got up on stage and I came alive. I was able to connect with 200 people in this room and tell my story and have people be really intensely kind of listening and engaging with my story. And I got to make people laugh. And after I got done with it, I was just thinking, okay, when's the next time I can do this? So I've realized that growth, personal growth, which is something we all, I think, want to pursue, to become, personal growth is really about putting ourselves in increasingly difficult, increasingly stressful situations and learning to overcome them. We think about celebrities as people that have just always figured it out, but they've put in the work. Like Justin Bieber, okay, we'll use him as an example. Justin Bieber have put in the hours. He's put in those hours in his living room as an 8-year-old, as a 5-year-old, putting on shows for his parents, putting on shows for his friends, right? He is essentially putting in his time, putting in his work, his hours, so that he's just stepping it up. Bigger audiences. And each time you add 100 people, right? Every time you add 100 people to the audience, it's a little more uncomfortable, but you're prepared. You've built that muscle in order to get there. And that's, again, why Break the Twitch is so important, because when we stifle our discomfort with a phone that is sort of like a pacifier, right? It doesn't allow us that personal growth that we really need. It doesn't allow us to achieve those steps that make this meaningful life happen. So that's why I'm doing this, you guys. That's why I'm here, because I want this for you. I want this for me, and I want to accomplish this together. I want to continue to grow, continue to explore, and let this be everything that we want. Rocky agrees. And I want this to be everything that you want it to be, and allow ourselves to live the life that is not behind a cell phone, is not, just buying stuff over and over, wasting our money on things that don't matter as much. But instead, really taking this life and editing it, creating it, making it what you want. So thank you again. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for subscribing, for being a part of Break the Twitch. I read every single comment. I want you to know that I read every single comment left on YouTube, and I respond to as many as possible. But if I don't respond, know that I'm reading every single thing you write if you leave a comment on one of my videos or anything. So thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening or rest of your day if it's morning where you are. And we will see you soon.